Got it? Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Everybody ready? Let's call this meeting to order. Need a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, let's say a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Public comment. That's public comment. If there's none, then we'll have JD.
Good morning, JD King, Page County Engineer. It is a fine morning in Page County, and it's not written on your update because it occurred after that, but I'll get to that at the end. The blades are out in the districts. They're cutting edges and bringing it in just a little bit. We're leaving the center alone because it's hard crusted. And now there's windrows out there that we need to be careful with, and we'll try to push those back or move them around, dry them out. And being careful with that. So the crews are still cutting brush and trees and piling it up. We are not burning. And we got a crew down on 305th Street and W Avenue in the southeast, and 300th Street in Oak. And that's just kind of south there, College Springs.
I saw that.
And doing good work. So also got some people doing some seeding. For example, where we've disturbed stuff like last fall, we put a railroad car in, replaced a bridge on 260th Street. There by Al Nowhere's place. Didn't seed it back then, but we have now. We're not hauling rock at the moment. It's, dry, it won't incorporate, with maybe the forecast for the next day and a half or so. That might change with a little rain. We'll evaluate that again. I see we got some routine things going on in the shop. The motor grader, the cat technical guy was in working on number 2, the right front pin and bushing. It wasn't right from the start, so they should at least warranty that for parts. Replaced the wheel bearing on the tilt bed trailer, in-house. And not on your update. I got in the second quote on a motor grader after the deadline for the agenda for today. So we'll have that next week with your meeting. Work at the bridge continues. We had yesterday and the day before. So it's been Tuesday and Wednesday. They set beams on the end spans, the west end, and then the east end. So all the beams are placed on the bridge, a milestone. So they're going to start decking. Deck forms. I would anticipate having a deck. The deck should be ready to place concrete next month. Could be later in the month, but a deck in April is a good thing. So we're making real progress there. Working on the DOT budget program. Hopefully incorporate that and maybe some of the budget meetings the board will do. Continue with project development on J53 because it has a federal aid in it. We have got another hoop to jump through for the feds. There's a cultural assessment aspect to this, and we have credentialed people here in Clarinda associated with the historical museums that helped us out with that process. So, Ms. Bergren. Next week's a lot of conferences going on this month, seems. This week is an asphalt conference. I am not attending that. Next week's ISAC, I plan to attend on the 22nd of March. There's a Hungry Canyons meeting in Atlantic. The DNR is going to be there, and we'll talk about paddling routes and the applicability or not of some of our smaller streams compared to the larger streams. Tomorrow, the office manager, who is a district rep from District 4, she'll attend a meeting, ICEOO, that's the Iowa County Engineers Office Organization. It's a group of office managers from around the state. Now, here's the good news. We've been talking about this for years. But I have hired a weed commissioner.
Yay.
Oh, good.
And he's from inside the unit. So he's familiar with our needs for spraying. And he's familiar with mowing and seeding. Those will be included in his duties, as well as we'll commissioner with weed complaints. And we'll aid him in the engineer's office with that. He'll be attending some roadside conferences and such things. Anyway, I look forward to this.
That's right. Good.
So, questions for me?
So then you'll have to hire somebody for his position.
Correct. And so we'll post it in-house to see if anybody we have now is interested in going down there. It may be a challenge in the southwest corner. And we'll advertise.
So that's a half a year deal. Is the other half of the year gonna be
Well, he'll be mowing
doing that?
and we're gonna spray whatever we can.
Mhm.
He's got the equipment to, refresh, let's say. Anyway, yeah, we've talked about it at the board, but we've
Right.
talked about it inside the department for years.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be good.
thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay. Next up on the agenda, we have, resolution 23. Setting the date for the sale of general obligation county jail bonds. Of that resolution. And a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 23-2024 for the sale of general obligation county jail bonds, series 2024B. And the authorization of the use of the preliminary official statement in connection therewith.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second on that resolution. Any discussion on?
Clark,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes. Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have
Let's check it. Let's check it, but it's the sign up.
setting the, date for doing the property tax levy notice. Is there a time reason for picking, other than Monday, is that right? Monday at noon?
Yes. we
Yeah,
talked about
that
this.
was just something we talked about doing.
We've talked about it before. I'll make a motion that we set Monday, March 25th at 12 PM in the page room to set as the date, time, place for public hearing of the FY 25 proposed property tax levy notice.
Okay,
Second.
got a motion and a second on that. Okay, that's Monday at noon. Refresh my memory on that. What is the reason for that being?
has to be done that day, right?
That's the first day it can be done,
Yeah.
First day it
because
could
the
be done.
property tax mailings are going out that day. And then with the tight deadline too, because we have geo debt, we're trying to get both, because we have to have the public hearing as well for the final budget before the 15th of April then. So with the new House file changes. And so that day you'll have a Zoom at noon and then a Zoom or a meeting at noon if you choose to Zoom, and then it'll end, and then you'll have it has to be a separate meeting, then it'll start at 12:15 to set the time then for the final budget hearing, because you cannot do them together by Iowa code.
Okay, so we'll set a time then for the next time. How many days does that have to be after that you do the?
So we're looking at, I'm looking at April 12th at noon, which is a Tuesday.
What's the?
What's the April 9th? What did you, I thought you told me April 9th.
Yep, that's what I said.
No, you said 12th.
12th. You said April 12th and I was like, okay, no.
April 9th.
Yeah, we just discussed this.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
April 9th
I'm
noon.
looking at, guess I was April 9th at 12 PM.
Okay.
What's the reason for 12 p.m.? What's that reason to be at noon?
We can do it in the morning. I just thought it would be consistent then with the initial proposed property tax hearing at noon, so. And then if anybody wanted to Zoom in, it would be over the lunch hour to give anybody that opportunity. So,
Okay, so. Okay, well, if we meet Thursdays those week, it doesn't line up with our deadlines to do it on Thursday?
no,
Okay, so we'll do the.
So we
First
went-
on the
and that will
25th at
be
noon.
one. You won't have two separate meetings for that.
That'll just be the one at
Yep.
noon and that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
12:15. Okay. Any discussion on that?
Do you want me to roll call
I
that?
guess, yeah, that's fine, we'll vote on that.
What?
I guess that's fine, yes, just do that.
Clark,
Yes,
Holmes,
Yes,
Mayor.
Yes.
okay. That done. Next up on the agenda, we have, proclamation for March 24 proclaiming Gambling Awareness Month. For Zion.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Amanda McCall. I work at Zion Integrated Behavioral Health Services. I'm hoping that some of you are familiar with our agency. We provide substance abuse treatment, but we also provide gambling addiction treatment. And I am that counselor. So March with the National Council on Problem Gambling and the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services, we are trying to promote Problem Gambling Awareness Month, letting people know first and foremost that gambling can become a problem. And secondary, that you have help here locally. You don't have to call a national hotline to get help. I can answer any questions that you have. Otherwise, I can talk for days about gambling, but I don't want to take up all of your precious time. So I will entertain any questions you guys.
Amanda is very knowledgeable about this. I've met her at our interagency meetings and it was interesting. We talked about the scratch tickets one day, which I never really thought about being the gambling addiction, you know, when you give them away at Christmas time. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, so.
Yeah, so most of the people I'm treating right now are struggling with sports betting. I mean, we can't watch a sporting event without seeing some sort of gambling,
Yeah.
commercial.
I ran some people sitting in Braddyville the other day, and I didn't know what they were doing. And they're from Missouri,
Mm-hmm,
and they're gambling on sports. They have to be in Iowa, because
correct.
they're legal in Missouri, I think.
Well,
Yep.
But I was like, why are you guys sitting here in the parking lot? And I said, we're gambling. As young guys.
Yep,
Crazy.
So
correct.
that's becoming a big deal, I guess.
It is. It's, pre-COVID, you had to take your cell phone into the casino and prove who you were. And now any of us could reach our cell phones, so we could download that app and immediately start gambling. You connect it right to your bank account, so, and
Wow.
we don't hold our money tangibly anymore, so it's very
Doesn't
easy to
feel-
click. And those are some of the biggest concerns as a counselor that I have, the accessibility of it,
Yeah.
the cultural it's culturally accepted, like we talked about at the meeting. Lottery tickets is gambling, but how many of us give them as gifts to family, friends, loved ones, children? And we need to be 21 to purchase them. We should be 21 to scratch them. The younger we introduce people to addictive behavior, the more likely they are to become addicted in the future.
Sure.
And I want to clarify, I'm not anti-gambling. Gambling is fun, it's entertainment. It can be a fundraiser for many people. Again, it's fun and entertaining, but when we cross that line and it's affecting our family, our relationships, our finances, that's when it really is.
Not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's not fun anymore though.
No, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And the suicidal ideation actually is higher with gambling than it is with substance abuse. And we already know that that's a chronic issue in the United States.
When they're making laws in the state house, do you talk to them? Do you about these things?
So I technically, in my role, I'm not supposed to go to legislature and
Lobby.
lobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fine line, but starting here locally and raising that awareness is important to me.
Okay.
I would move that we sign the proclamation for March as a problem gambling awareness month.
Got a motion?
At the request of Zion.
Yep.
And Amanda, go.
Second?
Second that. Yeah.
Discussion on that?
No, I think that's good.
I think it's
Thank
what
you
you're
so
doing.
much, guys.
Yes.
We'll do that. Sign now.
We're gonna vote.
You gotta vote. Yeah, let's vote. Would you roll call us, please?
Clark,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes,
Mayor.
Yes.
I'll sign that.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yep,
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming in here. Okay, solar ordinance, working on that a little bit more.
Todd, I saw you sent something out this morning.
Yeah, oops.
I guess,
It was just something that I saw and I've been kind of researching
yeah,
some stuff. Now, the one thing that I would, the setback piece of it looks like on most of them, the ordinances that I've seen, there's obviously a big difference between wind and solar.
right.
As far as setbacks. So most of them go with like a 50-foot setback from a property line. Which could change depending on if you have a bunch of trees in your property line, that's going to affect the solar output. And then up to 200 feet, separation from, residential place or a property where, is habited. And again, those are, based off of a lot of the ordinances, such as Lynn County and Clinton County, and some of the ones I've seen, most of them are around that
I would like,
set off space.
okay,
But yeah, so, and I don't know if that, it's like 56 pages of stuff, but, the person that wrote it could be more, friendlier to solar, I suppose, maybe, but, it does have a lot of good information, good things to think about as we're going through. It kind of is simple to read because it dictates different sections
Mhm.
and things that we should think about. Now, we may not agree with what their suggestions are. We may want to challenge those and talk about them. But, I thought it would give us a good baseline to, if we wanted to go that route to where we're starting to create one instead of maybe copying and pasting somebody else's, which I have no problem with if we do that, but, it gives us stuff to think about, so.
I would just like to, we have Mills, Montgomery, Fremont over here. I'd like to take one of those because they're neighboring counties. And not try to reinvent the wheel,
Sure.
but kind of go along with those and just get it done, because they've been through it and worked through attorneys, and if we can, adopt one of those, I think it would be really good. I don't think it needs to be as much as the wind ordinance was.
Yeah, no, I think
So,
they're totally different.
Right,
A little bit,
right.
so. Yeah, like I said, I just thought, send that to you guys, cause that's
Yeah.
one thing I was looking at.
I started to print it and then I saw it was 33 pages and I thought, no,
Oh, yeah,
Not
it's
gonna do
it's a
that.
lot.
yeah.
So. And so I guess, you know, as we're discussing for, you know, maybe, we'd like to take these neighboring counties ordinances and look at those three counties that border ours and then decide whether we want to create one,
Yeah.
you know, and I would say probably not next week because it's going to be a quick turnaround till Tuesday if we have a meeting on Tuesday. But maybe either, you know, the week after, come back and say, you know, we like this, discuss it, and then maybe just vote and pass it and
Right.
do what, you know.
Just move it along.
Right, so
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
we need to, I don't know that we need to do all the stuff that we did with
I don't
wind,
think so, yeah.
just because it's a little different animal.
I would agree
than the
with you.
wind one, so, but
I've
that's
had,
just my suggestion.
I've had some people call me that live in the bottom, not this, where they're gonna build this one, not those people, but people that live in the bottom's flat ground. And their concern is they don't want something 15, 20 foot tall, 50
Right.
feet from their house on all 3 or 4 sides, so
Yep.
whatever we do, and that'd be for future things, if they lay them out.
Yeah,
If we
And the-
make the setback waivable, whatever it is, then they have to be included in the talking about it. If they happen to
Absolutely.
be in the middle of, most of these places, maybe there won't be anybody living there, I don't know.
yeah,
So that's,
and it
you
looked
can
like,
do a little stiffer setback if you can waive it. So then they talk to each other.
Yep.
And
and there's quite a bit from the perimeter, what I was reading about, the perimeter of the solar field, I guess you could call it. From the property lines, there's a lot of times there's a buffer that's even more greater than the 50 foot. Cause where they set those up, so there's a lot of things to take into consideration, so if you have a lot of tree lines or things that are in the way that they're gonna try to set in open areas, so they're away from structures, they're away from, you know, green bins or anything that could hinder at maximum tilt, which is the 20 foot, most of them are about 20 foot tall at maximum tilt.
15.
They want to make sure that nothing's obstructing that. So a lot goes into when they're planning those locations to be away from trees, you know, so I think the risk of being too close to somebody is probably minimal, but
Right.
you'd still want that protection.
Put it right.
Yeah.
Unless you have a bad actor, you know,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
so, well, I mean, the main things is height, setback, and then decommissioning. If they,
I think it's pretty well set forth on the other. No one's close to us, so.
they'll pick the one that's most well-written or. And then
I wish
adjust
they
those
still had the
numbers.
CSR scores because that was.
Wish they still had what?
The CSR score where they would score the property and it had to reach or be at such a level before they could put in a project.
Hmm.
And now they waive that, they don't do that anymore, but that would ensure. My only concern would be taking out good, high quality farmland. You
And
know,
yet again, it's up to the
It is.
landowner.
right, what they want to do with it.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely, so.
Well. What do you wanna do?
Well, I would move, I would make I don't know if we have to make a motion, but I would move that in 2 weeks. We come and have our final thoughts. On, you know, what we want to pursue, and then we could still do our readings and things like that we have to make it. So that we could, you know, we could nitpick or,
So you don't wanna look at you did it, before you have a reading, you have to decide the numbers. Before we would have a reading, we have to have ours done, so we'd have to make it ours.
right, no,
Right.
I mean, come back. And say, this is what we're going to look at, so let's just say, hey, you know, we're gonna go with Mills County, we like that one, it seems to do a really good job. So then we all agree that this is what we're going to do. Now, you could go through and say, okay, there's this, like, maybe Jacob, you have issues with this section. We can talk about those in the next meeting, or we could come back with ideas if there's things that we disagree with or that we didn't like about it, because maybe there are some things in Mills County that we'd like to change a little bit. Like, I agree with Judy, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but, you know, and then if it's a week after that we finalize it, let's, you know, get our ducks in a row and say,
Right.
okay, this is where we want to head with the ordinance that we like. All three of us kind of like this one. It does the best depiction of what we want to do or copy. Then the following week gives us time to, everybody gets on the same page, looks at it, we come back with any issues that we might have. And then I would say the week after that, you'd vote.
But whatever we do, like if you have noise and different things, it should be consistent with the wind. Whatever noise we allow, if it's a noise
Well,
thing,
it's different
It's
though.
different.
noise is noise, it's measured as
Right,
a decibel level, so we should make everybody play by the same rules. I know it's not, it doesn't the danger of spinning and throwing things.
but I,
and
but I
going
think
far.
the one that we had for wind, the decibel was about the same, isn't it?
I don't know, that's what I said.
Okay.
They just
I
need to be
think
the-
it was.
They need to be the same. We
It
need to have the
sounded like
same-
they were between 40 and 50 decibels.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just make sure that's the same wording, because we want to have the same rules, I mean.
Right,
across
no,
the board.
we don't want to contradict ourselves, but
And
at
it
the
should be,
same,
right. It should be the
the
same.
same time, wind is a little bit different, especially on a safety standpoint from a residence, you know,
Right, projectile.
projectiles or,
But I'm just saying on noise is the same, noise is noise, so we have to
Right.
make sure that's the same, because that would be right.
yep.
Um.
I agree with you, Todd. I think that's what we need to do and not drag it out. So,
Lighting. See, and we could look at that to compare to what we have in place in our zoning that's in place in Page County. They have rules on lighting and all these things, so we don't want to contradict that either. You know, what it can be on the neighbor, there's rules about all that. You read that 2008 zoning ordinance that talks about lighting and what can be done.
Lighting?
Yes, for industrial things in Page County, there's rules for that. That's not agriculture. So to
what
make
does
sure we're
our-
not contradicting that.
Right, so what does our zoning board? Do they have zoning regulations
Yeah,
for solar?
not for, I don't know,
No.
about for anything industrial, but if we do this, we would supersede that, I think. If we make an
if
ordinance,
we have a separate solar ordinance,
then we go
I
past
mean, it's a
that.
part of the. zoning
Otherwise, they would
ordinance.
have to go
Right, so then the
through,
zoning board would follow our ordinance,
Right.
basically. Okay,
it would become the rules on that
Yeah.
topic.
yeah,
But we have rules for industrial things and noise and all that stuff already on the books. So maybe I'll print that off to make sure we're congruent with what's already
sure.
here. So
Yeah.
that would be, it's on the website, it's 2008
Yeah.
zoning.
I just don't think, as far as, you know, with wind, there was so much more
Yeah, it isn't
that we
spinning and
wanted to
it's not
straighten
hundreds
out,
of feet tall.
you know.
I mean, I get it.
and this one, I think there's been a lot more done ahead of time
Mhm.
from around surrounding counties that
We just
it's
need
just
to-
a little bit different that
We might as well follow
I don't wanna,
those.
I don't, cause I really do wanna spend some time on CO2 at some point.
I
know
did
that's-
just speak with Carl on that and said to put all the information we had and reach out to him again and get our recommendation on that. I just asked him that a minute ago.
Okay.
So we'll get some information on that this week.
Yep.
So, okay, well then, I might print that 08 zoning ordinance off to make sure we're lining up with what we already had in place.
So can we come back and?
We just need to pick, if you wanna pick a template, just pick the county around us as the best, most
Right,
well-written template, then we can adjust the numbers if we need to.
They're really pretty similar. They're just a little bit different arrangement on some of the things, but most of the information in there is pretty much
so
the
pretty
same,
much the same, and they might have all looked at each other too and copied
Right.
each other, so they,
right?
um. But, so I would definitely like to just see us in 2 weeks, have a good understanding of the template that we wanna use. And what we wanna mimic or copy from our surrounding ordinances, surrounding county neighbors, and then, move forward from there.
I would agree with you.
Okay. So. We'll pick a template
Okay,
and try it if you wanna look at the what we have in place in Page County right now is our zoning. ordinance. So we'll
Yeah, I
print
mean,
that
if
off,
you
and
could,
it has
if you
light,
could
it
get
has
that
noise.
information so we can just
Yeah,
make
it's
sure.
on the website.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we probably need to look at that, review it.
Cause that will, give us a guide to what we've already had for a long time in Page County. Okay. Well, we'll work on that, so that would be the 7th, so on the 21st, or you wanna do it at the 9 o'clock meeting
Well,
for the budget
I
hearing?
thought maybe that week we could probably still go back to our, let's see,
On the 19th,
we have one on the 19th for the thing, but we could go back to have our regular meeting at the 21st still
We can do whatever,
and do
yeah.
both, or would everybody rather just have one meeting that week?
why not just have one meeting?
We just don't wanna be inconsistent where we have 4 weeks in a row we don't do a normal.
Right. And I was just thinking that week, we don't really, I mean, the week before, we aren't gonna have our Thursday meeting. So,
And we won't be there.
but that week, we could still have our Thursday night meeting
Mm-hmm.
like normal and then do whatever we need to do on Tuesday as a shorter thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a ways out, so you wanna shoot for,
And
That's
what,
just 2 weeks.
and well, and that
Yeah.
night, the 19th is what, just the second canvassing? Is that what we're doing?
That's the second
right?
tier canvas.
So that's
very short.
probably a very short meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, and am I able to zoom to that one? To those, okay. So I would move that we just do our normal, that way we can probably pack more into the Thursday meeting on the
Okay.
21st,
Let's shoot for that then. Just regular, not that week.
like regular, and then do the canvassing on the 19th. And then I would say the 12th, since we're not having a meeting on the 14th, to maybe make that our weekly meeting next week,
Mhm.
if that's all right, at 9 AM.
I thought we'd already established that.
Yeah, maybe.
Since we're gonna be in Des Moines.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure everybody is
Right.
aware of that, and then,
Okay, that sounds like a plan, so I'll get us to the 21st.
yep.
Okay. Anything else on that? If not, we were kind of doing this anyway, we're in board communication. Get our
Mhm.
schedule kind of figured out for the next few weeks.
You didn't report on your Farm Bureau meeting last week.
Oh, forgot about doing that. It went well. Talked about roads, rock. Setbacks. I don't remember everything. We talked a little bit about I think they had some questions about the solar field, maybe where it might be, because they tell a story. It was good. They have their lobbyists, Farm Bureau has lobbyists, State House. And, talked to them about that. They have a pamphlet they gave out. I think they give anybody that goes in there that shows how they feel on every topic. Right, shows how they lobby. And looked at that a little bit, so it was good. I mean, they meet, I think everybody can go once a month if they want, go down there and visit with them. They have a lot of questions and spread out through the whole county.
Yeah.
So, but they have, their main thing is one of their main things, they agree on what to lobby for over the whole state. They all put their ideas together, so. But it was good. I had a deadline though. We had to come up here, so it was,
Right, yeah.
had to run out there on them and run up here for this meeting, so. And I didn't get the Jay's Pizza. Normally you get Jay's Pizza, and I did not because it was early, so that was that's what makes it even better meeting to go to, so. But, it was good. We talked about brush, talked about they were removing brush from the side of the roads and all that stuff. We were talking about that night meeting last week too, but they all have that same concern of the whole county, and a weed commissioner talked about that, I think, a little bit. So there was the same concern wanting that, and I'm glad that happened.
Right.
So that is good news. Anything else?
I had a EMS essential service meeting last Monday night. So, but that was it this week.
I had an interagency meeting on Tuesday. Always very interesting, and we keep getting more and more people, and it's amazing I keep saying this, but the amount of services that are available to Page County and the surrounding counties, from pre-birth on, on up, everything going on and the services that are offered, and you would think that some would cross and maybe some do cross, but everybody works so well together. It's amazing.
So,
And I've learned a lot from Amanda on gambling.
No gambling.
Gambling, and then, I mean, we've got sexual assault counselors, we've got so many different types of counselors. Nobody should be out there, without resources available, so
yes,
it's amazing,
it's nice that we have those.
yes.
Good.
I do have a question, did everybody get the email from Denise Bryant?
Yes, I did, and I replied back to her.
Okay,
So that's a really neat idea.
but money, funding, I'm wondering. how
Yeah, I
they're
don't
gonna
know.
fund it.
I told her I would plan a time to go meet with her
Yeah,
and just go see it, what she's doing. I don't know if she's doing it on her own or if she
yeah,
didn't really come out and ask for money.
no, she
but-
didn't, I guess, to explain, she sent a thing out that they would like to create a Serenity safe haven for veterans and their families for a safe environment to enjoy, and it would be at the VA office, and it's like a little park.
Yeah.
Did you see the drawings?
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
neat, yeah,
I mean, it's neat, but you're talking trees and benches and picnic tables and
yeah.
and
And I don't know
gazebo and all of these
If
things.
people
and
are
I'm thinking,
wanting to donate some of that,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I don't
great.
know, but
Yeah.
it'd be, I mean, it's a great
See
idea.
what our
Yeah.
plans are.
I mean, yeah, so,
Yeah.
and the bad thing is, the one question I would have is, we rent that building?
No, we own
No,
it.
we
Oh,
own.
we own the building?
own it,
Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking, so so the one question that Jason had for it was some about what we rent
If you rent
for
it
the
out,
properties. So do
then
we,
it's not.
or
a-
do we rent any property for the county?
The only thing I could think of, and I sent a thing back, was that in that building, we have other governmental agencies.
Okay,
That are
yeah.
using that, so I don't think that would be the same,
Okay,
but I don't know.
We are the landlord.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't,
But
I,
that's,
I was
that's,
confused about that because I thought, well, maybe we just rent that building over there. and we
no,
don't
that's
really-
the only, that's
Okay.
the only thing I can think of. That's the only building I can think of where there's
Okay.
other people using our
Yeah.
space that we own.
Otherwise, yeah, I thought it was really a neat idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I'm sure it would be very helpful to veterans to have a nice place like that
Yeah.
to just,
Did we sign everything? We're gonna, did we signed the
yes, here's the
thing, and I have this is
proclamation.
the
That one's
bonds.
done.
That's
There's the
the same
proclamation.
proclamation.
Yep.
Okay.
Is there anything else? What about the resolution?
Do you need a
that
copy
already?
of
I
this?
have not. I
Could
have
she
not
have a
seen
copy of
the-
that one, please?
Yeah, that's what I signed there, resolution 23.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got everything signed. We're good with that. There was no claims, correct? So we're done on the claims. Okay, the minutes here.
Yeah, I didn't make copies, but
I just have one here too, but. You wanna?
You-
Well, we can look at them,
you have
pass them
copies
over.
of
I
your
don't,
copy?
we'll just, let me see that one, I'll pass over Judy and we'll look at it here.
the only difference, I guess, and was that I know on like public comment and things like that, I did leave, whoops, like who gave public comment and what they gave public comment about. I didn't put in the discussion. I did do some research and I was looking at other supervisor meetings. Just in Montgomery County for one, and how they do theirs meeting minutes. And they do put like, so-and-so spoke about roads. They don't put the whole discussion, but it does say, Tom Smith was here talking about roads or had a question about roads. Which I don't think that's too much to ask to have that in there. I don't think we need to, if you wondered what they said, you could go back and look at the video, or you
Right,
could call that person and ask them, but,
you just have to have the
yeah,
same.
so I mean, I
have to have
just
the
left
same
that in there.
scale. You have to have the same scale for everything.
Yeah, if you just did that as a standard and
Mhm.
just said, And then, you know, again, it's the same old about the rewritten minutes versus amended minutes. It's still something that I struggle with because I don't really understand why. Because nobody's rewriting all the minutes, and nobody's rewriting the facts. We're amending certain things, taking certain things out, but nobody's rewriting anything. So I brought that up several times. That's just tomato, tomato, I guess.
Let's see, let me see, and I'll pass it
Those are
over to
mine.
Judy. Got it. Let's see. Okay, here, Judy, wanna look at those? Trying to remove discussion on things that is not recommended to be in here. You have a chance to look at it. Once you're done, we entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we amend the minutes per Iowa. What is that? Iowa Board of
Public Information Board.
Iowa Public Information Board, yes.
Okay, got a motion. Judy's seen those, what's been amended? Okay, second, I'll second that. Vote, please.
Clark,
No.
Holmes,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, that done. All right, we're at the end of the agenda here. Everybody's done. We should motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Oh, we got a race on that one.
Still move.
Okay. Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.